28th and 29th January 2021 will be remembered as the days where we came across a plethora of distinguished personalities from prestigious institutions. Now, in the valedictory session of the West Zone Vice Chancellors Meet 2020-21 on reimagining teacher education, vocational education, and professional education by Association of Indian Universities and hosted by Jaipur National University, Jaipur, I, Dr. Blessy Tankachan, welcome our esteemed speakers. We witnessed wonderful talks and discussions from our esteemed panelists in the three technical sessions. Committed changes are happening in the way teachers have played their roles, and there has been a tremendous change in the way they have presented themselves, especially in the period affected by a global pandemic. AIU has always been instrumental in the same. In the valedictory session, it's a privilege that we have in our midst Dr. Bhushan Patwardhan, Vice Chairman, University Grants Commission, as our chief guest.
Blessy, you need to hold for a minute. Yeah, sir has joined. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So it's a privilege that we have in our midst Dr. Bhushan Patwardhan, Vice Chairman, University Grants Commission, as our chief guest, Dr. Pankaj Mittal, Secretary General of the Association of Indian Universities, and Dr. Tej Pratap, who is the President AIU and Vice Chancellor GB Pant University of Agricultural and Technology, Pantnagar. Now I request Professor H.N. Verma, Vice Chancellor, Jaipur National University, to welcome our eminent guest. Professor H.N. Verma has been a member of various academic bodies, a fellow of the National Academy of Science and a recipient of Birbal Sahani Gold Award and several other coveted awards. He has supervised more than 30 PhD students who presently hold high positions in universities and research organizations. Sir, please.
Thank you, Blessy, and very good afternoon to all the esteemed members. We are truly delighted to extend a very warm welcome to Dr. Bhushan Patwardhan ji, the Vice Chairman UGC, to the valedictory ceremony of virtual West Zone Vice Chancellors Meet. Sir, we are highly grateful to you for accepting our invitation to deliver valedictory address and guide all of us in spite of your pressing commitments. Thank you very much indeed, sir. I would also like to extend a very warm welcome to other distinguished members, President AIU, Dr. Tej Prakash, and very dynamic Secretary General, Dr. Mrs. Pankaj Mittal, and other esteemed guests. During the two-day meet, we all shared our experiences regarding various issues of NEP and various ways and means to effectively and successfully implement it. The aim of AIU during the two-day meet was to gather around the table the most knowledgeable experts on this subject, enhance common understandings, and build consensus and on possible options for meeting the current and future challenges of the new education policy. We hope that the intense discussions during the various sessions have enriched the debate, identified the issues that need resolution, and paved the way for more enlightened debate in future. The meet theme took into account varied aspects and planned its sessions around the theme. The different themes deliberated in the two-day meet would help settle the complex issues of NEP 2020. I particularly wish to appreciate the very productive, lively, and intense debate that were witnessed in the sessions. I am very happy to know that many authorities in their respective fields were able to join these sessions and contribute richly to the global conversation. I hope that the two-day deliberations will gather further momentum in the times to come. Before I end, I would like to convey my heartfelt appreciation to all the participants who, by their very presence, have demonstrated their commitment to the cause and to AIU for giving us opportunity to host the meet. Before I end, I would like to read out this Sandesh of our Chief Minister who couldn't join in this valedictory function because we have invited him for the valedictory function. His Sandesh is, मुझे ये जानकर प्रसन्नता है कि एसोसिएशन ऑफ इंडियन यूनिवर्सिटीज के सौजन्य से जयपुर नेशनल यूनिवर्सिटी जयपुर के तत्वाधान में 28-29 जनवरी 2021 को पश्चिमी क्षेत्रीय वाइस चांसलर मीट 2020-21 का आयोजन किया जा रहा है। राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति 2020 के क्रियान्वयन पर प्रभावी विचार विमर्श के लिए देश के पश्चिमी क्षेत्र जोन के विश्वविद्यालयों के कुलपतियों का सम्मेलन अपने आप में महत्वपूर्ण है। आशा है कि शिक्षण की पुनः परिकल्पना, वोकेशनल और प्रोफेशनल एजुकेशन जैसे महत्वपूर्ण विषयों पर उच्च शिक्षण संस्थानों से जुड़े शिक्षाविदों के विचार विमर्श से उच्च शिक्षा में गुणात्मक सुधार का मार्ग प्रशस्त हो सकेगा। वर्चुअल मोड पर होने वाली पश्चिमी क्षेत्रीय वाइस चांसलर मीट 2020-21 के समापन सत्र 29 जनवरी 2021 के अवसर पर मुझे याद करने के लिए धन्यवाद। मैं इस सत्र में भाग लेने वाले सभी कुलपतियों और उच्च शिक्षाविदों का स्वागत करते हुए इस आयोजन की सफलता के लिए अपनी शुभकामनाएं प्रेषित करता हूं। थैंक यू। ये हमारे चीफ मिनिस्टर साहब अशोक गहलोत जी का संदेश था। इसी के साथ मैं फिर सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देना चाहूंगा, खासतौर से एआईयू का कि उन्होंने जयपुर नेशनल यूनिवर्सिटी को ये सौभाग्य दिया कि हम ये वर्चुअल मीट वेस्ट जोन की होस्ट करें। और मुझे पूरी आशा है कि ये वेस्ट जोन की जो मीट हुई है ये मेरे हिसाब से काफी सक्सेसफुल रही। इसमें बहुत डिस्कशंस हुए, एआईसीटी के मेंबर्स ने और आपके नैक के मेंबर्स ने जो काफी कुछ हम लोगों को ज्ञानवर्धन किया, उसके लिए मैं उन सबका हृदय से धन्यवाद देता हूं। और खासतौर से पंकज मित्तल जी को, जिन्होंने इन पिछले कई दिनों में बहुत एक्टिवली हमारे साथ एसोसिएट होकर हमको गाइड करती रही हैं कि किस तरह से ये हमारी जो कॉन्फ्रेंस है, मीट है, सक्सेसफुल हो। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आप सबका, बहुत शुभकामनाएं।
Thank you, Professor Dr. H.N. Verma. To have a glimpse of the major discussions which were held during the sessions held in the last 2 days, a report will be presented by Dr. Savita Shivani. She is the head of the Department, Computer Science and Engineering, Jaipur National University. She has an extensive research experience of teaching research activities across the years. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Dr. Blessy. The West Zone Vice Chancellors Meet of the Association of Indian Universities is hosted by Jaipur National University, Jaipur on 28th and 29th January 2021. Honorable Governor of Rajasthan Shri Kalraj Mishra graced the inaugural session as the chief guest. Dr. Tej Pratap Singh, President AIU and VC, Vice Chancellor GB Pant University of Agriculture and Technology, Pantnagar, and Dr. Pankaj Mittal, Secretary General AIU, also attended inaugural function. Professor H.N. Verma, Vice Chancellor, Jaipur National University, gave welcome address. Dr. Suren Shukla, Head Center of Excellence, Jaipur National University, and Nodal Officer AIU for organizing West Zone Vice Chancellors Meet 2020-21. Main theme of the meet was reimagining teacher education, vocational education, and professional education. The inaugural session started with a national anthem and reading of preamble and fundamental duties for citizens by Honorable Governor of Rajasthan, Shri Kalraj Mishra ji. The highlights of the inaugural session are Professor H.N. Verma, Vice Chancellor, Jaipur National University, Jaipur host institution, gave welcome address. He emphasized upon interface between education and employability. He thanked all the participants and governor on being a part of this meet. The government under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi plans to transform teachers' education to new highs. Dr. Pankaj Mittal gave the welcome and introductory address. She talked about the functions of AIU and pointed out that every activity has been automated for effective implementation of new Education Policy 2020. She stressed upon workshops, faculty trainings, placements, and publications of digitized scholar articles in reputed journals, emergence of a STEM education for strengthening of higher education system in the country. Toolkit book was released about reopening of higher education system. First Khelo India University was inaugurated by Honorable Prime Minister. Kuch Artistic Corona, an online cultural event was organized for students. Equivalence for foreign degree has been automated now. Dr. Sandeep Bakshi, Chancellor, Jaipur National University, in his address, stressed upon value-based education by citing examples of Nalanda and Taxila University. He shared that JNU took a lead in vocational training of more than 1,000 students. Dr. Bakshi has emphasized upon the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat as envisaged by our Honorable Prime Minister. He favored strong industry academic collaboration for making professional education more employment oriented. Dr. Tej Prakash Singh, President AIU and Vice Chancellor GB Pant University, in his address discussed about revamping teacher professional education. He insisted upon bringing all Vice Chancellors on a common platform in supporting vocational education. Honorable Governor of Rajasthan, Shri Kalraj Mishra ji, released the University News of AIU. In his inaugural address, Honorable Governor emphasized about the proper implementation of new Education Policy 2020. He said that the new policy has come after a long time. A teacher has to focus on perennial learning. He highlighted upon the role of NIRF in inculcating a strong research culture. He insisted upon designing of employment-oriented syllabus and inclusion of new contents in the curriculum, which will help in updating the knowledge of students and make them competitive in global environment. He said that have a great role in building a strong society. He shared the thought of Sri Rabindranath Tagore ji. If a teacher does not study on his own, what he will teach to the students. Further, Honorable Governor congratulated Chancellor Dr. Sandeep Bakshi ji for his extraordinary efforts towards society in the pandemic situation. The inaugural session ended with a vote of thanks. The next session on the interface with office bearers from apex bodies started, and it was chaired by Colonel Dr. G. Thiruvasagamji, Vice President AIU and Vice Chancellor Emmet University, Chennai. Speakers of this session were Professor Rajendra Kakade, Advisor AICTE, Professor Amia Kumar Rath, Advisor NAC. Following points were shared during the session. Strong focus on transparency and simplification of approval of courses to the professional and technical courses being run by institutes and universities, effective implementation of various schemes of AICTE like faculty, student institutional development schemes, research innovation development schemes, Swayam India Smart Hackathon, and UK India Education and Research Initiative. Awareness programs have being organized by NAC from time to time for colleges and universities, conduction of 150 conferences and 500 webinars. As per the format suggested by NAC, the evaluation will be done on 70% quantitative parameters and 30% will be on qualitative parameters. Organization of international webinars to understand the accreditation process, conduction of orientation and best practices programs, extension of validity period to institutions whose accreditation after period falls within April to December 2020. Professor Amia also shared NAC revised accreditation framework and timeliness of process of NAC. In the next technical session 1, a new approach to teacher education. It was chaired by Professor J.S. Rajput, UNESCO chair and former director NCERT. Speakers of the session were Dr. Harshad Patel, Vice Chancellor, Indian Institute of Teacher Education, Gujarat, Dr. B.K. Tripathi, Director, IUCTE, BHU, and Ms. Rajita Kulkarni, President, Sri Sri University, Cuttack. Following recommendations emerged as part of deliberation of the session. We need a teacher for 21st century, as we can't go with the 1960s and 70s or 80s as the horizon is changing dynamically. The main emphasis should be on lifelong learning, learning to live together, transformation of bookish knowledge into practical realities through teachers. There is no provision of lateral entry exit, as we need to make this provision. Strong impetus should be given to MOOC, internet radio, TV platforms, and community outreach programs. Focus on learning-based outcome, multidisciplinary credit bank, lateral entry and lateral exit. New type of pedagogy and curriculum need to be developed. New concept of advisory system of teacher learner should be given a proper direction. Autonomy also needs to be given at institutional and departmental level. Integrated curriculum should be given importance so as to provide flexibility to teachers for promoting innovation. We need to focus on colleges situated at remote places and not limit ourselves to universities only. Teachers need to be given multilingual training. The role of teacher should be of a coach, motivator, transformer, mentor, and facilitator. The student satisfaction survey should be initiated to know their requirements, focus on blended learning to whole brain integration, and teachers should be prepared and taught to be agile, that is, developing at least one skill every year. Gross enrollment ratio should not be less than 50% in secondary and higher education. Thus, will give the possibility of dropouts and pave the way for more teachers. Strong focus on meditation and yoga for managing stress. The next technical session 2 on skilling, upskilling and reskilling India was chaired by Sri Praveen Kumarji, Secretary, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Government of India. Speakers of the session were Professor Raj Nehru, Vice Chancellor, Sri Vishwakarma Skill University, Gurugram, Dr. Swati Majumdar, Pro Chancellor, Symbiosis Skills and Professional University, Pune, and Dr. Sandhya Chintala, Executive Director, IT and Vice President, NASCOM. Following are the aligned recommendations of this session. Skills learned today will not be relevant for tomorrow. So we have to continuously upgrade our skills. Training delivery mechanisms need to be changed. More emphasis on making skills aspirational. Priority should be given to multi-skilled person for large organizations. Skilled labor and quality skills are required for international business. Since digital transformation, migration, and growing uncertainty has shortened the life cycle of business, so we have to deal with unpredictability and sustainability challenge also. Shift towards online education platforms like Baiju, online food delivery services through Zomato, Swiggy, digital OTT platforms like Netflix, Hotstar, and travel apps like Uber, Ola, Cabs, etc. Special attention should be given on skill development of women. Recognition of prior learning is a game change, so this area should be explored for a country for upskilling and reskilling. The world has already witnessed a spur in the jobs oriented to AI, cloud computing, blockchain technology, big data. 40% of all business will die if they will not adopt these technologies. Upskilling and reskilling should be focused on minimizing talent gaps and make workforce ready for other jobs respectively. Traditional mindset has to be shunned as it will not work in present environment of a skill and reskilling. Due to nature of work which COVID has taught, more emphasis has to be given on gig economy. Sector specific degree has to be there. Apart from technical skills, building professional skills is equally important. While education is to be treated as an industry, global education coalition should be there. Customized e-learning has to be given utmost importance. Job creation has to be the mission of educational institutes. Adequate instilling of emerging technical, critical, professional skills among students and faculty members. In the deliberations, future of digital factory is also being talked upon. Prominent sectors of the economic like manufacturing, banking, agriculture, hospital should go on the path of automation for better efficiency and effectiveness. Launching of skill platforms by NASSCOM will make India a digital economy, and skill development model has to be encouraged by the university. In the third session, on revamping professional education, it was chaired by Professor Sandeep Sancheti ji, Vice Chancellor, SRM Institute of Science and Technology. He started with a note that professional education is what has contributed to the higher education to maximum extent. It is more towards maximizing the horizons and delivering better services to the society. In NEP 20 also, it is suggested that professional education is much broader than what it is assumed traditionally. He emphasized that professional education lacks multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary approaches. Medical and law subjects can be beneficial to other disciplines as well. The next speaker in this session, Professor R.C. Agarwal, DDG ICAR, he informed the House about functions and activities of Agriculture Education Division of ICAR. The mandate of Education Division of ICAR for agriculture is to promote and support agriculture education in country. The need for agriculture education in country is to go for competence enhancement, attracting and retaining talented youth. So the purpose is to create job creators rather than job seekers. Student ready programs have been launched. Fellowship and student projects are provided. Rural awareness and development programs are there to revamp agriculture education in the country. The next speaker in this session, Professor Poonam Saxena, Vice Chancellor, National Law University, Jodhpur, emphasized on the diversity of Indian universities in terms of locality, infrastructures, availability of professional programs. She also raised a question that how one governing body can regulate such diversity. She focused on the need of regular faculty development programs to enrich the knowledge amongst faculty members. She emphasized on the need of revamping legal education in the country, although some efforts were being made in this area in some last years. The next speaker in this session, Professor P.V. Vijaya Raghavanji, VC Sri Ramchandra Institute of Higher Education and Research, Porar, Chennai. He presented on revamping and professional education in healthcare sector for competency enhancement. He showed that how CBME curriculum may be helpful towards developing the wings to revamp. He also suggested e-portfolio scheme to collect student work, demonstration, artifacts, which will be helpful in the direction of enhancing student learning progression. He recommended that MOOC-like online platforms should be enriched with medical-related lectures and literature. So these were the salient recommendations out of the 3 sessions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Savita Shivani. Now it's time to listen to the feedbacks from our Honorable Vice Chancellors on the sessions and discussions held here during the last 2 days. For the same, I firstly welcome Professor Dr. Rajni Gupte, who is the Vice Chancellor, Symbiosis International University, Pune, to present her feedback.
Thank you, Dr. Blessy. Let me first thank AIU, Dr. Mittal, Dr. Tesh Pratap, for giving me this opportunity to share my views at this platform. The host university, Jaipur National University, Dr. Verma, Dr. Bakshi, Dr. Shukla, thank you for organizing this session in such a wonderful manner. It all began when we received your concept note, which was very, very detailed. And I think the structure of the program that you all have put together has been really excellent. I think the topic on the basis of the NEP which has come up, the importance of teacher education, vocational education, and professional education cannot be overemphasized. So clearly demarcating these 3 topics was something that was deeply appreciated. I think at each point of time, in each session, there was time for us to have an open house. I'll talk a little more about that in a minute. but the structure of the conference was really well laid out. The inaugural session, the Honorable Governor of Rajasthan gave us very valuable inputs. The interaction with the apex bodies, which was excellently handled by Colonel Tiruvasagam, where we had speakers from NAC and AICT, was wonderful. I think they laid out the issues very clearly. And that was the one session where there was a lot of questions from the participants, and there was a lot of interaction in that session. The technical session 1 on teacher education, very relevant issues were raised. The speakers were wonderful. And I think at each point, the relevant issues that were raised by the participants were also addressed. The technical session 2 was on vocational education and on skilling. Here, the speakers were excellent, very good inputs, futuristic, and yet real challenges were also highlighted, which gave the participants an insight into what the future holds for us. Today's session, technical session 3 on professional education, was equally interesting. Dr. Sancheti, as usual, set up the agenda very clearly and outlined the challenges. 3 areas which were focused today: agriculture, law, and medicine. I do wish there was some input on engineering, but I guess one of the speakers did not turn up. So engineering would have been a very valuable addition over here. Dr. Mittal, we deeply appreciate your initiatives. I think right from the time of the lockdown, we've noticed that AIU has been very active in development of faculty development programs, in making sure that the teachers handle their responsibilities very well. All the initiatives that you have taken on the IT-driven initiatives and all the other initiatives that you outlined in detail are much appreciated. And I do think that this is the right way for AIU to go ahead. We deeply appreciate you and your team. I think I have noticed, I've been, Dr. Rama Pani and others in AIU have been there for many years. Each and every one of the team members who has contributed, I think we deeply appreciate, because this was a year which was very difficult, very unusual year. And for AIU to have taken the lead, to understand the challenges that universities were facing, and to actually provide the inputs, necessary inputs, was very important. We particularly appreciated the FDP programs that were conducted with QuestPay. I think each of the initiatives that you all took gave us the strength that we can actually go ahead and face these challenges. So thank you, AIU. Thank you for this. And thank you for giving me an opportunity to express my views. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. Rajni Gupte. I now request Dr. M.N. Patel, who is the Provost, Parul University, to represent his assessment on the sessions and discussions held here, sir. Sir, Dr. M.N. Patel.
He doesn't seem to be here. We can request Dr. Rana.
I join Ma'am Dr. Rajni Gupte in sharing each and every word that she said. I mean, we know the nation, the government has given a wonderful document to us in the education fraternity. And it was only in the fitness of things if those who are engaged in at the helm of affairs could address some of the key issues, concerns, and challenges in this wonderful gathering. I'm sure that being the objective, most of us are now not looking for some guidelines, some advisories on the implementation part of it. At least one thing has become very loud and clear to each one of us, that if we start in whatever way we can in our respective setups, implementation will happen. And it doesn't require rocket science, or it doesn't require a big, massive advisory, hey, go ahead. Yes, there are people who are engaged in working on the implementation aspects, but some of the provisions which you can start, and this conference gave those catalytic moments to that drive. So I'm in sync with whatever was shared by Dr. Rajni Gupte. And the other aspect which was very important when we talked about teacher education, actually COVID-19 pandemic has opened more than one avenues where we have to be sensitized on as education providers. So whether it is in terms of course curriculum or design or delivery or assessment and evaluation, there was good food for thought that as to what is the way forward. I was wanting to share some experience in a way that we have tried to do it. And I thought, given the deliberations in this meet of the Vice Chancellors, I was very satisfied that we are on the right track. So it is not only to get to know or expose what you are doing, but also get to know as to where are you and what are the various things that you can rework on. So those pointers were well taken care of by each and every speaker. I was part of yesterday's, not the entire day, let me confess, but whatever I was, I saw sincerity of purpose. I saw seriousness of purpose, which makes conferences and events of this kind successful. With you at the helm of affairs, Pankaj ma'am, I know how you get into each and every nitty-gritty and present to us something which is worth looking at, deliberating upon, and taking key insights. It is not only an event of this kind, but very many initiatives that you have started, not only during the pandemic, but before that also. Now, people in the country, say that there is a cohesive, there is an organized, well-meaning association which is understanding and trying to address in whatever way it can the issues and concerns of higher education, getting people from abroad, giving them room and opportunity to tell us what they are doing, how they have overcome COVID pandemic challenges, was in more ways than one an eye-opener for most of us. I fortunately attended quite good number of such sessions. So it is summing up a wonderful task that you are doing, Pankaj ma'am, and so is your brilliant president who is echoing what you are doing in terms of thought and action. I wish this association grows and grows and grows beyond certain proportions so that we all stay together and we know we are heard by someone. Our voices reach where they ought to reach. So surely, whether it is National Education Policy 2020 or any such document which is addressing the issues and concerns of higher education, will have your inputs and involvement in much bigger, better ways. I have seen your appearances in very many fora, talking very, very vehemently about what higher education is all about, what higher education can do, whether you have been talking about getting more funds from the Ministry of Finance on education, on R&D, we are aware. So you are a silent spectator, and we know AIU is in the safest possible hands with the team that you have. Rama ma'am, doing wonderful works, bringing out the newsletter so meticulously, bringing out these special issues, on time, and your librarian, Yudhvir, keeping all of us posted with what is happening in the education sector, what people talk about, pandemic and national education issues. What has this university done? So those are some of the initiatives which each and every one of us has understood as part of our day-to-day activity. So thank you so very much, Pankaj ma'am, and your wonderful team. We look forward to such deliberations. And I also wish to express my gratitude to Vamaji and his team for being an apt host for a conference of this kind at an apt time. We saw everything fell in place. The meticulous planning by Varmaji and his team has been phenomenal. So I would like to express my sincere thanks and gratitude to Vamaji for all the support that he has extended to AIU in making this event very, very successful, professionally enriching and stimulating. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Rana, Vice Chancellor JKLU. I feel proud to invite Dr. Pankaj Mittal, Secretary General of the Association of Indian Universities, for her address. She is the second woman Secretary General of the AIU in its 95 years of existence. She has been serving the higher education sector for over 3 decades at senior positions at the University Grants Commission of India. Dr. Mittal is also the recipient of many awards and honors like Fulbright Nehru Scholarship Grant, President of India Award in 2017, and first Padma Shri Subhashini Devi Award in 2018 and Kimpro Gold Standard Award in 2018. We welcome you, Madam, for this address to this August gathering.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Blessy. A very good afternoon to all of you. Pranam, namaskar. I know that Dr. Bhushan Patwardhan is waiting for a long time, so I won't speak long, but only 2-3 minutes. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to Professor Bhushan Patwardhan for agreeing to join this session. He is very, very busy. He keeps busy in so many activities. He is Vice Chairman of UGC. He is also Chairman of ICSSR right now, and he is engaged in advisory capacity with Niti Aayog also. So I know that we are encroaching upon his time. So thank you very much, sir. Thank you for agreeing to be with us on this valedictory session. I would also like to express my thanks to the host university, and Dr. Verma and Dr. Suren Shukla, for hosting this West Zone conference so meticulously. Everything was perfect to the timings, and the technical details were taken care of. So thanks a lot. Thanks for hosting the West Zone conference. This time it was virtually. Maybe in future we will be doing it face to face also. And I would also like to thank here my AIU colleagues. As Dr. Rana was saying, it is always a teamwork. I cannot do it alone. So when I talk of AIU colleagues, first and foremost is the President AIU, who has always been very, very supporting. Then Vice President AIU, who has been, he has been so vocal about so many activities which have been undertaken by the AIU that we feel encouraged to work more and more under his dynamic leadership. Then my colleagues, Dr. Rama is there, Vijender is there, Satyapal is there, Shivam is there, who are working day and night to make these conferences successful. So thanks to each one of them. And then coming to this conference, for the information of Dr. Bhushan Patwardhan, sir, that earlier we thought that the conferences, this year's zonal conferences will be on the sustainable development goals, that how the sustainable development goals can be met through the HEIs, through the higher education institutions. But once this National Policy on Education came, we thought that it will be more relevant to talk about the implementation strategy of NEP. Therefore, we are holding the main conference on formulating the implementation strategy of NEP. We have already made a draft document, but we are refining that document based on the recommendation in these 5 zonal conferences. So each of the zonal conferences is on a sub-theme of the National Education Policy recommendations. And we are very carefully curating the information, the recommendations given by all the vice chancellors, and that will go into the refining of the document. And we hope that in the national conference, we will be bringing out a very good document on implementation strategy for the NEP, which we are doing in collaboration with Jindal Global University in Sonipat. A big team of around 7 to 8 people from Jindal is working on that document day and night, and then they are also attending this conference to ensure that everything is captured and whatever recommendations are there, they are incorporated in that document. So we are wishing to have a very good implementation document so that the universities are clear about for each and every recommendation. We are going to give the action point. What is the action which is to be taken by various stakeholders, the actor who will be taking that action, the timelines within which that action should be taken, and also the performance indicators which will indicate that how much of action has been taken up. So that will be around 150 to 200 pages document which we are planning to bring out in the national conference. And all these conferences are working as a recommendation to that particular document and as a run-up to the national conference. So we are so happy that you are here, and we are sure that a person of your intellect, and you're a scholar par excellence. So a person of your intellect, when you speak in this conference, it does add value to the conference, immense value to the conference. So thanks, sir. Thanks for accepting our request, and thanks for being here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Pankaj Mittal. Now welcome Dr. Bhushan Patwardhan, our chief guest of this valedictory for his valedictory address. Dr. Patwardhan is a biomedical scientist who is Fellow of National Academy of Sciences and National Academy of Medical Sciences, India. Currently, he is the chairman of Indian Council of Social Science Research, New Delhi, and member of National Board of
I think in the
Examination.
interest of time, skip that, Dr. Blessy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, you may.
Thank you very much. I am so happy to see this AIU West Zone Vice Chancellors meet happening successfully, and I've just heard glimpses of the report. And the theme is also very pertinent, reimagining teacher education, vocational and professional education. And Jaipur National University has very efficiently hosted it. So, Honorable Vice President of AIU, Dr. Tej Pratap, and dynamic Secretary General, who is giving very new energy to AIU, Dr. Pankaj Mittal, Professor H.N. Verma, Vice Chancellor of Jaipur National University, Professor Suren Shukla, Professor Rama Devi, and all other colleagues at AIU as well as JNU Rajasthan. I'm given 20 minutes, but I'm going to, in the interest of time, because I see that our sessions are getting delayed, and I don't want you to be waiting for your lunch even at home. So I'll save minutes of my time and touch upon some of the very important 2 or 3 issues, because there is a lot to talk. But I must tell you that I'm writing a separate chapter on these, what I'm going to talk about, and you will be able to read details when AIU publishes its next book very soon. As you know, the principles of access, equity, employability, and quality have been central to India's education policies, and they have been recommended since Kothari Commission report in 1966. So it's not new. The first national policy, in 68 also touched upon this, and the national now, for the first time, I would say, National Education Policy 2020 has augmented this spirit by recommending very bold, visionary, and strategic reforms in higher education. Obviously, because it was led by a very, very eminent scientist and my mentor, Dr. Kasturirangan, along with many other members, and they had huge consultations as well with the stakeholders. And I'm happy, Dr. Mittal, that you are creating a document for implementation, because this is very important. I believe that AIU is one of the most important stakeholders, and in all possible efforts taken by the government, AIU must be given a strong voice. And your proactive effort of coming out with a document is very, very welcome step, and I'm sure it will be very useful as well. Now, looking at the history, if we see that some progress we have been made, since these various policies in respect to access and equity, we have really made progress. However, our progress in quality and employability has been hardly satisfactory. I hope you'll agree with this. Quality of education has been going down despite our best efforts. In my view, the main reason for this is ineffective implementation and insufficient attention given to what students learn and how they learn. I'll repeat, what students learn and how they learn. Among many crucial, I won't be able to touch all. I will touch upon only 2 main points into this valedictory session, because they are relevant to the theme of this session. And they are educatedness and employability. Concept of general education, we must bring it in the mainframe. General education is something which should cut across all education, be it special education, be it professional education, or be it vocational skilling. It should cut across, because this is the core of university education. University education, 15-16 years of formal education must have certain attributes. And which are they? First and most important is independent learning, reading, and communication ability, information and understanding, access to relevant information, and abilities to actually participate intelligently and efficiently in various discussions, debates, be it academic or public. Next is intellectual capacities. This will include capacity of critical thinking, inquiry, and it also includes thinking like mathematician, philosopher, and scientist without requiring specialized knowledge. You don't have to have specialized knowledge to think like a mathematician or a philosopher or a scientist. It should be combined with thinking like a designer, inventor, engineer, doctor, manager, leader, entrepreneur, whatever you need. To do thinking, you don't need specialized knowledge in these. These are attributes, which every educated person must have. Then comes citizenry and awareness of the commitment of one's right and responsibilities as a member of community, country, humanity, and a sense of global citizenship, sustainable living, etc. And next is socio-emotional component, which includes set of qualities that characterize a good human being, such as empathy, compassion, consideration for others, gratitude, forgiveness, generosity, tolerance, non-violence, including commitment to a range of universal ethical values. Next is attitude and habits of mind, such as intellectual curiosity, a commitment of values to truth, rationality, clarity, and rigor of thinking, doubting, questioning. I think in our whole system of education, this questioning, which was core of our pedagogy, we have lost it. And teachers have monopolized teaching. We are thinking that we are the only ones who are given authority to teach, and what we teach inside the classroom is only teaching. And in the whole process, we are undermining the capacity of students, and the power of students, the interest of the students. You have undermined that. So future teaching is going to be, or future learning, I would say, is going to be co-learning. I continue to learn from my students every day. So we should not monopolize teaching. And next is appreciation of beauty is also one of the attributes, I would say, because the overemphasis on STEM has really vitiated our entire education system, and the value of humanities and social sciences and such disciplines also must be brought up. Simple appreciation of beauty across different forms and traditions of art, and ability to defend aesthetic judgments based on shared perceptions and shared aesthetic values. This is also an important component of educatedness. In my view, educatedness should be heart of our all education system, be it professional, vocational, or whatever. For this to happen, it is very crucial that we drastically rethink the nature of our syllabus, assessment practices, classroom pedagogy, teaching material. Now I'll go to my next point, which is about really the education connected with employability and economy. We all agree that expertise in area of specialization is important for professional and vocational programs. There is no question about it. However, this does not automatically translate into employability. As NEP 2020 points out, one doesn't know what job one would do in near future or what abilities it would require. A liberal art education prepares one for a variety of jobs and transition across different jobs. And this is very important when we are talking about the new generation industry coming up, wherein your skill sets keep on changing rapidly. I feel that unemployability is only a symptom of a problem. It is not cause. I'll repeat, unemployability is only a symptom of a problem. It is not cause. The real cause lies in the fact that we mass produce degree holders who are not educated in the real sense of the word. We are creating graduates, degree holders, degree certificates we are printing. Are they really educated in the real sense of the word is a question. Even for employability, pursuit of educatedness ought to be the primary consideration. I must tell you, when top companies recruit, they don't look at only your knowledge, because in 20 minutes or 15 minutes interview, they are not interested how much you know about different equations and different principles. They know what is your attitude, what is your vision, what is your way to look at others. So this is more important, and based on that, most of the top recruiters recruit students. Education is concretization of the aspiration of liberal education, which is recommended very strongly in NEP 2020. General education includes the idea of liberal education, but goes beyond in many respects. The paradigm of intelligence and well-being oriented liberal education, I must tell you, this is different from the currently predominant system, which is economy-oriented formal education. And economy-oriented education is focused on economic advancement of individual, economic advancement of corporations, economic advancement of nation, and also to some extent world. But only GDP cannot be considered as a criteria. This is linked to the future flourishing of learners, future flourishing of nation, and future global flourishing. I must tell you that the current scenario is dominated, which is not really the ideal situation, but the current scenario is dominated by campus placement based salary package driven education culture, which may be actually detrimental to basic ethos of education. The purpose of liberal art education is not simply to prepare one's first job, but also for one's second job, third job, and beyond. This is what NEP 2020 has talked about. With the coming the industrial revolution, now the while we are talking about fourth industrial revolution, already the fifth revolution is at the doorstep. And also considering the rapidly changing employment landscape, a liberal art education and a general education is more important and useful for one's employment than ever before. This is what we must help students, parents, and others to understand, appreciate, so that they can wean themselves from the culture of economy-oriented formal education to the culture of intelligence, well-being oriented liberal education. This is going to be a gigantic task, and I leave it to my all fellows in the academia to really address that. As articulated in NEP 2020, we need to redefine the vision, purpose, goals, means, and expected outcome of higher education, and we should align it to our history, our culture, our aspirations, and it should outline the strategies to be adopted during implementation to meet our national needs for global good. So we need to spell out the relation between vision of the future of India as Atmanirbhar Bharat and educating young minds as a mean to achieve that vision in the next 30 years. The vision and its actualization needs to be aligned to the purpose of education from KG to PhD and the concept of general education, educatedness, and a program syllabus as distinct from subject-wise syllabus or year-wise syllabus should be central to this enterprise. The program syllabus, I must tell you that it lays out understanding, abilities, habits of thoughts, and attitudes expected to be imbibed by the students. Teachers' role in all this will be extremely important, and proper training of teacher also will be very important. And teachers who will need to produce learning materials, supplementary teaching resources, as well as adopt the future pedagogies which are coming up because of the technology, as well as the assessments which probe into learning outcomes we aim at. Our primary focus should be on higher order cognitive capabilities as mentioned in NEP 2020. I hope I really feel that high-level interministerial national think tank probably should be created, and which cannot be restricted only to one ministry, but some body like Niti Aayog can oversee it, which is needed to actualize the vision of 2024, 2040, what NEP is aiming at, and I hope that efforts of AIU facilitate the right implementation of NEP in its right direction and in the right spirit. I wish all the participants all the very best. Namaskar and Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Your views about reimagining teachers' education has ignited our minds. Dr. Tej Pratap Ji, President AIU, could not join us for his presidential address due to his busy schedule, but we had his blessings yesterday. Therefore, we will move on to the vote of thanks. Now welcome Dr. Rama Devi Pani, Editor, University News, AIU.
Dr. Blessy.
Yes, yes, sir.
Instead of Dr. Tej Pratap, Dr. Thiru Vasagam, who is the Vice President of AIU, he will be giving the presidential remarks.
Okay, thank you. Sure.
Dr. Thiru Vasagam, please, for your presidential remarks. Sir, you are on mute. Please unmute yourself. Sir, please unmute yourself.
Yes, okay. Esteemed Dr. Bhushan Bardwardhan, Vice Chairman, University Grants Commission. Most respected Dr. Jandeep Bakshi, Chancellor, Jaipur National University. Honorable Dr. H.N. Verma, Vice Chancellor, Jaipur National University. Beloved and respected Dr. Pankaj Mittal, Secretary General AIU. Esteemed Vice Chancellors who have participated as panelists and delivered valuable address. First of all, I would like to register my sincere thanks and appreciation to the Jawaharlal Jaipur National University, especially the Vice Chancellor, Chancellor and their team for having taken much pain and strain and making this conference very, very successful. Secondly, it is my honest duty to extend my sincere thanks to my colleague, Secretary General of AIU, Dr. Pankaj Mittal, who is the brain behind the entire program. AIU is very fortunate to have her as a chief executive. Yes, her several decades of experience in University Grants Commission is helping and promoting AIU. Not only AIU, even all the member university of the AIU as well. I should mention about my president AIU, Dr. Tej Pratap, who is a missionary and agriculture scientist, whose extraordinary style of leadership giving new facelift to AIU. Friends, I am not going to take too much of time. In the absence of my president, I was asked to give a very brief address in the form of a valedictory address as well. After listening our Vice Chairman UGC, definitely it's not possible for me to proceed further. Whatever I wanted to place before him, whatever I wanted to share among you, already our Vice Chairman has given in the form of his address. He has touched all the points. Really very amazing, sir. Now we are very safe in the hands of UGC after listening you. We will not find any difficulty in implementing national education policy because there are officials, they talk about programs, they talk about policies, but they will not come down and understand the practical difficulties of the universities as well. Even some of them, they hesitate to accept the existing system also because they are the policy makers, they are the rulers. But as far as our Vice Chairman UGC is concerned, it's not the first time I am listening. I have been listening for many occasions. He is a very practical oriented person. And our Vice Chancellor is very happy about you, sir. And with this spirit and expectation, we will proceed further and see that the national education policy will be implemented with real spirit. And I would like to stress 3 points only within another 5 to 7 minutes, sir. The first one is...
Thank you, Dr. Thirusagam. Thank you for kind words. I will have to take your leave because I have to join some other program. Yeah. So thank you, everybody, and all the best.
Vice Chairman, sir, only 2 minutes, sir. Only 2 minutes. Okay. You can do, sir. I wanted to put 2 questions, so 2 things.
Okay. Yeah, yes, please.
One is, sir, as Vice Chancellor, we have started planning and implementing the national education policy from our end. From your end, I mean UGC or Ministry of Education, there are very few items which doesn't require any financial commitment, which doesn't need any approval, further approval. Those things also you can start implementing because you know pretty well, charities should start from home. You are our home. Yeah, for example, national education policy specifically recommended there should not be any more deemed university in the name. There should not be any more private university in the name. Hereafter, universities will be designated as university irrespective of the background what they have, for which UGC can take initiative and start announcing. We will have the pride of taking the name such a way recommended by National Education Policy, and we can understand that UGC also started implementing certain things. This is our first request, sir. And the second request, sir, you served as a Vice Chancellor as well for many years. We regularly meet on different conferences, and AU also we meet in the under the banner of Council, General Council, Governing Council. In all the bodies, we prepare some recommendation and forward to UGC and other apex bodies. You also receive it with a positive interest. But what we want hereafter, at least under your regime, please reply to us, acknowledge to us, and inform to us what actions taken from your end. That will give much satisfaction to AAU and the fellow members universities. Then only they will have more confidence over AAU and the apex bodies. These are all the two requests before you leave. I wanted to place, sir.
Thank you. I completely I agree with you. I agree with your concerns also, and there is a lot of room for improvement, and we will try to really take it. I hope that more and more strong bonds are built between AIU and not only UGC but with all other educational regulators, because I feel that AIU is the most important stakeholder when we are talking about education. It's the largest association of universities which is represented by its vice chancellors, and I think it must have due due recognition and due attention from all angles. Irrespective of that, when you have a dynamic leader like Dr. Pankaj Mittal, I'm sure she will steer through all this, and with help of all of you, Professor Thiruvasangam, I'm sure AIU will reach newer and newer heights. I wish you all the best, and Dhanyavad. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your time with us. What else I have to say? Time is very short. I don't want to take any more time. Whatever I wanted to convey to our Vice Chairman, I conveyed. He has also aptly replied. And it's my appeal to all the Vice Chancellors. Please have regular contact with the AAU. It's not the question of the conferences. Hopefully there may be some Vice Chancellor joined in this valediction session. I want to repeat it. We are not that much happy about the participation of Vice Chancellors in the conferences and in the interaction sessions as well. As mentioned earlier, this is the second conference of the particular year. The number of Vice Chancellors participated and participating very limited. Leave alone, we have organized 2 interface sessions by inviting officials from AICTE and NAC. Hopefully in the future conferences, we will be inviting officials from other statutory bodies like medical education, law, and maritime also. So when they come, they will be allowed to lecture, follow interaction. That's why we name those sessions as interface session. But unfortunately, for the last 2 conferences, only 1 or 2 Vice Chancellors only came forward and raised a question. Because it is an occasion AIU is creating for the Vice Chancellors to have an interface discussion. It is very, very difficult for us to reach all these officials in person or communicate and getting the reply. Or at least in future, I am appealing to all the Vice Chancellors, please give your participation in a bigger way and interact with the officials who are coming from the apex bodies. It is my appeal. And finally, once again, I would like to thank this Jaipur National University for making this program really, really, really interesting, useful, and purposeful as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Colonel Dr. G. Thiruvasangam for your presidential address. Now I welcome Dr. Rama Devi Pani, Editor, University News AIU, for the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Blessy. Good afternoon, everybody in this August gathering. Chief guest of the valedictory session, Professor Bhushan Patwardhan, Vice Chairman, University Grants Commission. Respected President, Association of Indian Universities, Professor Tej Pratap. Most acclaimed Colonel G. Tiruvasagam, Vice President, AIU. Reverend Chancellor of Jaipur National University, Dr. Sandeep Bakshi. Most acclaimed Secretary General of AIU, Dr. Pankaj Mittal. Esteemed Vice Chancellor of Jaipur National University, Professor H.N. Verma. Honored Vice Chancellors of different universities of the West Zone. Distinguished guests, delegates, invitees, ladies and gentlemen. The high respect for teachers and the high status of teaching profession must be revised, restored for the very best to be inspired to enter the teaching profession, for the teachers to be well motivated and empowered to innovate, and for education to therefore reach the heights and levels that are truly required to ensure the best possible future of our children and our nation. These are the words from the new National Education Policy 2020. In fact, the policy acknowledges teaching as the mother of all professions. It lays emphasis on vocational education, professional education, and teacher education to promote Make in India and evolve Atmanirbhar Bharat. Traditionally, the universities were viewed as institutions which train the students for professions. But the universities of today are expected to prepare students for a host of occupations and semi-professions. Ideally speaking, the purpose of education is to teach students how to live life by developing the mind and equipping them to deal with the reality, to prepare them for full-fledged life self-fulfillment and sustainable future. In this regard, the three aspects, teacher education, vocational education, and professional education are very crucial. It is in this view that the deliberations of this 95th West Zone Vice Chancellors Meet of AIU were geared toward the topic Implementation Strategies of National Education Policy 2020, revamping teacher education, vocational education, and professional education. The meet was a great success, as we can see from the report and feedback, and many tangible recommendations which have emerged out of it. It is indeed an opportunity and privilege for me to conclude this meet of the West Zone Vice Chancellors by extending a vote of thanks on behalf of Association of Indian Universities, on behalf of Jaipur National University, and on my own behalf to all those who have contributed to make this meet a success. As you all know, the success of any conference depends on the dignitaries and experts who grace it. For this very valedictory session, we had a very dynamic and visionary chief guest, Professor Bhushan Patwardhan, Vice Chairman, University Grants Commission. We all know how busy a person holding such a prestigious and responsible position as Vice Chairman of University Grants Commission. And as Dr. Pankaj Mittal said, he has the additional charge of ICSSR and Niti Aayog, some activities of Niti Aayog. Despite that, he spared his valuable time to grace this occasion and deliver a very, very interesting speech. We all have enjoyed his address, and I am thankful to him. I convey my thanks to him on behalf of this whole gathering. For the inaugural session, we had the privilege of having the Kalraj Mishra ji, Honorable Governor of Rajasthan, to inaugurate the meet. We convey our immense gratitude to him for his inspiring, informative, and very thought-provoking address. We are also thankful to him for reading the preamble and reviving the fundamental duties in the gathering. We are also thankful to Sri Ashok Gehlot ji, Honorable Chief Minister of Rajasthan, for his message and good wishes. Association of Indian Universities, in its session 2021, had the privilege of having Professor Tej Pratap, a mountain man of India, who has long years of experience as Vice Chancellor, as President. He not only presided over the inaugural session and gave his valuable inputs, but also had set the tone for fruitful deliberations of the meeting. Sir, we are thankful to you for your continuous guidance and incessant support. I place on record our indebtedness to Honorable Chancellor of Jaipur National University, Dr. Sandeep Bakshi ji, for hosting this meet and providing us an opportunity to reach out to the West Zone Vice Chancellors through your university. We are also thankful to you, sir, for gracing the inaugural session and presenting your views on NEP 2020. AIU has as its vice president a very able intellectual thought leader, Dr. Colonel G. Srivasavan. The session on interface with the apex bodies was ably chaired by him. And also this valedictory session was also chaired by him. As usual, his thought-provoking opening remarks for the interface with the apex bodies stirred these discussions and resulted into many valuable recommendations. Sir, we are thankful to you not only for chairing these sessions, but being with us continuously and providing us guidance time to time. We are thankful to you indeed, sir. After 93 years of existence, AIU had its a women secretary general par excellence as Dr. Pankaj Mittal. Madam, you are a continuous source of inspiration for all of us at AIU. Gracing this honorous chair of Secretary General, you are realizing many important tasks of Government of India as well as the universities in the interest of higher education of the country. I'm thankful to you, Madam, on behalf of AIU fraternity for your efforts not only in making this meet a success, but also realizing the objectives of AIU. I'm thankful to you, Madam. We are indeed very thankful to you, Professor H.N. Verma, Vice Chancellor, Jaipur National University, not only for the marvelous arrangements for hosting this virtual meet, but also for your warm welcome address. We all enjoyed the meet, sir. We are thankful to you. The significance of the meet is to have scholars with insight, information, and knack of chairing the sessions. I must say that all the sessions were excellently chaired. For the first technical session of the meet, we had none other than Dr. J.S. Rajput. He himself is at par with Vishwagurus of the world. He chaired our session and provided his valuable input, which were very well taken by the participants of the meet. We convey our gratitude. For the session, we had eminent speakers of the field, eminent experts of the field as speakers. I'm immensely grateful to Dr. Harshad Patel, Vice Chancellor of Teacher Education University at Gujarat, Dr. B.K. Tripathi, Director, Inter-University Center for Education at BHU, and Ms. Rajita Kulkarni, President, Sri Sri University, Qatar, for the valuable views. For the second technical session on skilling, upskilling, and reskilling, again we had the person at helm of affairs, Shri Praveen Kumar, Secretary, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship as chair. We are very thankful to him to take out time from his busy schedule and stay at the session. We are thankful to him. As panelists, we had captains of skill universities and practitioners of skill education, Dr. Raj Nehru, Vice Chancellor, Sri Vishwakarma Skill University, Gurgaon, Dr. Swati Majumdar, Pro-Chancellor, Symbiosis Skill and Professional Education University, Dr. Sandhya Chintala, Executive Director, IT and Vice President, NASCO. We are thankful to all of you. In today's session on revamping professional education, we had Professor Sandeep Sancheti, past President AIU, who is still mentoring AIU with his expertise and personal involvement in all the activities of AIU. We are very thankful to you, sir, for chairing this session and being with us throughout. We again had very eminent speakers in this session, Dr. R.C. Agrawal, Deputy Director General ICAR, Professor P.V. Vijayaraghavan, Vice Chancellor, Sri Ramchandra Institute of Higher Education, and Dr. Poonam Saxena, Vice Chancellor, National Law University, Jodhpur. We are thankful to you all, sir and madam. I thank Dr. Rajni Gupte, Vice Chancellor, Symbiosis University, and Dr. Raina, Vice Chancellor, JKL University, for their feedback on the meet. I'm thankful to you indeed. I'm very happy to see an overwhelming response to this West Zone Vice Chancellor's Meet. We owe the success of the conference to the active participation of the Vice Chancellors. My thanks are due to all the West Zone Vice Chancellors for their kind presence and active participation in the meet. I will be failing in my duty if I do not thank the individuals who are involved in organizing this meet. In this series, first of all, I thank Mr. Vijender from Meetings Division of AIU, who worked meticulously for last several days to make this event a success. I also thank Mr. Satyapal, Nodal Officer at AIU Secretariat, for his untiring input in making the arrangements. I thank all the AIU staff who directly or indirectly worked towards conduct of this meeting. I owe special thanks to Dr. Suren Shukla, Nodal Officer of the meet at Jaipur National University, for meticulous organization of the meet. The arrangements were really good, sir. It's really a great effort. I thank Dr. Shweta Shivani and Dr. Blessy Tangachan for anchoring the session so aptly. We cannot be successful in conducting these virtual meets without utilizing the expertise of the technical teams. I thank all the members of the technical team, particularly Shivam Dikshit, Head Computer Unit at AIU, for his continuous technical support during the conference as well as prior to that. I'm also thankful to Mr. Surendra Saini for his technical support. My sincere thanks are due to rapporteurs of this session for recording the deliberations of the meet so painstakingly, which will be documented in the records of AIU for further action and dissemination. I once again want to state that I am most grateful to one and all who are involved in making this meet a great success. Thank you, one and all, and I take leave. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Rama Devi Paniji. Now I request the august gathering to rise at your places for the national anthem. Thank you all very much for this, your time. With this, we come to an end to the West Zone Vice Chancellors Meet and Conference 2020-21. We pray to God and hope to see you all face to face in the near future. Thank you all.
Thank you
Thanks
very
to
much.
everybody. Thanks.
Thank you, everybody. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you so much. Thanks, Mittalji, for giving us opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Shukla, for organizing it so beautifully.
So with this, we are closing the sessions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Shukla.
Thank you, Professor Verma. Thank you, Pankaj ma'am. Thank you, Ramadevi Pani ma'am, and all others who have made this a wonderful unit, wonderful function.
Thank you, Dr. Anna, for your kind words.